In today's video, I have to survive 100 days as an iron golem. And also, I have 3 objectives. First, build my very own village. Second, take out a woodland mansion. And finally, defeat the Ender Dragon. Will I be able to survive 100 days as an iron golem in hardcore Minecraft? Keep watching and find out. So here we go, our journey begins on day 1. And a good thing was I spawned right outside a village. There was plenty of animals around and also there was a few villagers. This was amazing. So I went around the village to see what I could find. I found this tree right here, so I punched it down and made a crafting table. And I made a wooden pickaxe, but this wooden pickaxe wouldn't be good enough. I had to go and find some stone. So I headed off and I found this cliffside. And I started collecting a few bits of stone. Made sure to collect a few bits of stone, enough for a few stone tools. Anyways, I went back to my crafting table and I crafted a stone pickaxe and also a stone axe as well. So I went around the village to see what else I could find. I found some hay right here, so I collected myself a few pieces and made some bread. And then off in the distance, I could see there was a abandoned village. So I didn't hesitate and I went to go and investigate. And then as I approached the village, there was a bunch of hay around and also a few cobwebs. Yeah, this place was abandoned. Hey, look, a zombie villager. So what I decided to do was to take him out of his misery. Poor thing. Anyways, I went around the abandoned village and went to go and find some more materials. Found a bunch more hay, and I also found some of the villagers' equipment as well. Found a bed, a composter, and also a few wheat seeds. This was amazing. And then, as I left the village, there it was, a pillager outpost. This was very bad, so I rushed over there the quick as I could. I had to stop the pillagers. I had to take them all out. Just look, they have everything all set up. So I didn't hesitate and I went over to the pillagers and I started attacking them. Fought all the pillagers and then I entered the outpost. So I entered the outpost and I found a chest. So I opened it up and I found some carrots, some potatoes and also some XP bottles. Anyways, I headed out the outpost and I continued to take out the rest of the pillagers. That's the pillagers taken care of. So I headed out once again and I found a desert temple. So I went over to the desert temple, entered the desert temple and went to go and collect a bunch of loot. And found some diamonds, also some gold and some horse armor. But I couldn't forget about the TNT. So I made sure to collect that as well. Then finally, I leave the outpost and by the next day, I made my way up to this hill right here. And there it was, a brand new village. So I thought, why not? Let's set up camp right here. So I placed down my bed, also my crafting table, and also some storage. And then I went to the forest to go and collect some wood. I was not going to live here for very long, but I wanted to make a bit of a base so I could just get started in this journey. This looks like a perfect spot to build my first base. Didn't want to spend too much time making this because I wasn't going to be living here forever, so I just used loads of wooden planks. And the next day I placed in a bunch more slabs, placed in a few fences, placed in my bed and also some storage. And finally, the crafting tables. And there it is, finally. Our temporary base is now done. Now, I think it's about time we go to the caves and go and collect some materials. So I made a bunch of pickaxes and I found this cave. So I headed down into the cave and I found some iron. So I collected a few bits of iron. Also found some coal as well. This would come in handy for later on. So I went deeper down into the cave and I found some more iron. But surprisingly, I was attacked by this Enderman. Getting through these caves is very hard. Being this tall is not so easy. Finally I made it through. And then as I turned this corner, there it was, lapis. I would need this for enchanting, so I made sure to collect a load. Even better, as I turned this corner right here, there it was, diamonds. I couldn't believe it. So I rushed over to the diamonds and I went to go and collect them. And yeah, I got myself loads of diamonds. I was super happy. And then I continued to navigate through the caves. Found a few more bits of lapis and also a few bits of redstone. But that was it really, nothing else. So what I decided to do was to head back home. This took a very long time, but finally, after a bit of time, I made it to the surface. I went home and smelted up all the iron that I collected, and I waited for it to be all smelted up, so I could make some iron armor. And there it is, I made a full set of iron armor. Wow, finally. But I almost forgot, I had to make my iron tools as well. I haven't really explored the village that much, have I? So I went around the village, collecting a bunch more hay. This village was stacked. It had so much hay here. And then I ran into my friends. Day 8, I headed to the nearest swamp and collected a few bits of sugarcane. So I collected a few bits of sugarcane right here. and I stumbled across what seems to be a mine shaft. And I was right. It was a mine shaft. I found this chest right here as well, so I opened it up and I found sweeping edge and also water protection. Once I'm in the caves, I thought, why not? Let's go and collect some obsidian. So I went to the nearest lava, placed down my water bucket, and I went to go and collect a few bits of obsidian. Then finally, I get home, make a book, and then I make the enchantment table. And there it is, we finally have the enchantment table. Wow, finally. I was a very happy iron golem. Later on that day, I thought, okay, it's now about time we go and find a place to live. So I headed out, not too far away from the village, and I thought, this looks like a perfect spot for my home. But first, I needed materials. So I went to go and collect some oak logs, and then I get home and flatten up a bunch of ground right here, made sure to clear out a massive space, so I had plenty of space. And surprisingly, this took a very long time. Collecting all these materials wasn't easy. All the stone bricks that I used really took a long time to go and get. And of course, you always gotta add leaves around. And there's one thing you can't forget if you're an iron golem, you gotta make sure to place in a bunch of poppies. Okay, I built this path, but I wanted to use some spruce wood. I didn't have any, so I had to go out and find some spruce wood. So I headed to the spruce wood forest and collected a bunch of spruce wood. I finally get home and place in all the spruce wood, and yeah, I made the right choice. It looks amazing. As an iron golem, you get hungry very quick. So I needed a farm, and I thought, let's make a potato farm. So I made a potato farm right outside my house. So I placed in a bunch of water, flattened up all the ground, and planted in some potatoes. And now I think it's about time we make the nether portal. So I placed in all the obsidian, and there it is, the very simple nether portal. And there it is, the nether portal. So I jumped through, and I got through to the other side. So I got through to the other side, and there was nothing special really, just a typical nether. So I went out and went to see what I could find. And as I was exploring through this crimson forest, there it was, a nether fortress. I couldn't believe this. So I headed over there the quickest I could, but I couldn't get across, so I had to make my own custom bridge. So I just used some crimson wood. As I approached the nether fortress, I could see there were some blazes and also a few wither skeletons, but they wasn't a problem. I easily took them out and collected a few bits of blaze powder. Once I'm in the nether, I might as well go and collect some nether wart. So I found some nether wart right here, and I made sure to collect plenty of this stuff. I would need this for potions. And as well, I wanted to explore the nether. I wanted to see what else I could find around. And finally, I stumbled across a bastion. So I made a way up into the bastion right here, and I found some loot. So I opened up a chest and I found a load of arrows, which is amazing. Being an iron golem was pretty cool. I didn't take full damage, so I could jump from massive heights and not take damage. So as I couldn't take damage from falling, I was being a bit too confident, and I decided to jump down here, and instantly I was getting attacked by every single mob. This was really bad. I panicked, and I tried to make a run for it. I was trapped, so I had to run through all the piglins, taking a lot of damage. And wow, that was really close. If it wasn't for these magma blocks right here, I'm pretty sure I would be dead. So I just used my crossbow to take out all the piglins. Anyways, I continued to loot up all the bastion, and I found some more decent loot, like a looting 2 sword, which was unbelievable. Once I had that looting 2 sword, what I decided to do was to go to the warped forest and go and collect a bunch of ender pearls. Then finally, the next day, I go home. I get home, do a bit of farming, planting up all the potatoes, and then went to go and harvest them all, getting myself loads of potatoes. And of course, I wanted to make the Eyes of Ender, so I could actually go and find the stronghold. So I threw my Eye of Ender, and then I headed out to go and find the stronghold. So I throw my Eye of Ender, and of course, it's got to break. Anyways, I head out and go and find the stronghold. Then finally, I find the stronghold. Yes, I finally found it. So I went around the stronghold looking for a library. And then, as I turned this corner, there it was, a library. I was super excited, so I collected all the books straight away. Opened up this chest right here and found a really good enchanted book. Anyways, I collected a bunch more books and then I headed back home. Day 33, I finally arrive home, make a bunch of bookshelves, and of course I gotta make a place for my enchantment table. So what I decided to do was to make it in the ground. Placed in a bunch of bookshelves and I'm almost finished. Placed in my last bookshelf and there it was, pretty much finished. And once again, I was a very hungry iron golem, so I needed a better farm. I needed to make a bigger potato farm. And yeah, being an iron golem is not so easy. I always have to eat all the time. So I just made a very simple potato farm. So I flattened up all the ground and finally I placed in all the potatoes. Also added a bit of decoration around. I wanted to make this place look nice. And then there they was, pillagers. This was really bad. So I carefully made a way over to the pillagers. But yeah, they could see me. Of course, I'm an iron golem. How can you miss me? Well, I guess that didn't work. Plan B, attack the pillagers. So I did. I took out all the pillagers. And yeah, that showed the pillagers not to mess with me. What are they thinking? I'm an iron golem. Anyways, I think it's about time we make some diamond armor. So I headed to the nearest cave and I luckily found some gold right here, which was nice. So I collected a few bits of gold. After a bit of digging, there it was, diamonds. This wouldn't be enough for a full set. I would have to continue looking, find loads more. Okay, I think that's enough diamonds. It's time to head back home. So I decided to make a way up right here and I could see there was a creeper. If I was a few seconds late, I don't think you guys would be seeing this video. So I finally get back home and I'll make a full set of diamond armor. But I almost forgot. I almost forgot about my tools. So I made sure to make them as well. The next day, I'll make an armor stand so I could display all my diamond armor. I wasn't going to wear it just yet because I wanted to actually enchant it first. But before I enchant my armor, I want to enchant my pickaxe. So I went back to the nether, collecting a bunch more gold and also a loads of quartz so I could get loads of levels. Finally, that should be enough levels. So I head back home, enchant my pickaxe, and I also enchant my axe as well. I was a very happy iron golem. Later on that day, I thought, okay, it is now about time we start working on a bit of a village. And I thought, this looks like a perfect spot to build my village. But first, I needed a lot more materials. So I headed to the swamp, collecting a bunch more wood. I'll need plenty of these. And I also decided to go and collect some birch wood as well. And of course, I can't forget about dark oak wood. So I made sure to collect plenty of that as well. I get back to base and I start work on the village. Wanted to make a very simple house right here. Used a bunch of those dark oak logs, some stone bricks, and also some wooden planks. And to finish it off, I placed in a few lanterns, placed on a door, and that's house 1 done. House 2, I wanted to use a little bit of a different design. I wanted to place in a bunch of stone bricks and also some spruce wood as well. For the roof, I went with oak stairs and added a bunch of windows as well. Place on a few doors right here, and yeah, that's house 2 pretty much done. And I have to say, this place looks pretty cool, but I definitely want to add some more stuff here later on. I'm not finished just yet. After that, I could see all my potatoes have grown up, so I harvested up all my potatoes and went to the village. I wanted to trade with all the villagers to get myself loads of emeralds, and I thought I should make my own villager farm. So I went home and I started work on my very own villager farm. So I added a few new paths around and I also started work on the villager farm. So I placed in a bunch of glass right here to finish up on the roof, gave them a bit of a farm so they could do their own farming. All I had to do now was to go to the village and go and collect some villagers. So I found this villager in his house right here. So I put him in a minecart and I took him to his new home. And he was pretty happy. Got a second villager as well, but I accidentally hit the villager and he was not very happy. But I was not finished just yet. I needed a bunch of beds and I thought, why not go back to the abandoned village and go and collect loads? So that's what I did. Day 53, I finally get back to the villager farm, place in all the beds, and I could see the villagers were very happy. Well, we finally got all that done. I think it's time to go exploring. So I headed out and I found this ravine right here. Pretty interesting. I specifically wanted to find a jungle, but instead I found a badlands biome. I'll take it. So I went to go and investigate, collecting a bunch of terracotta. I might need this. And I found this strange mine shaft. So I went to go and investigate and I found this minecart with a name tag. And then, as I got up to this hill, I could see there was a village. So I proceeded to head over there, and I found a bunch more hay. And I also found another iron golem. This was pretty cool. And then, as I was collecting hay, I could see off in the distance, there was a jungle. This was amazing. I was a very happy iron golem. So the next day, I headed over there and I explored the jungle. Found some bamboo, which was interesting. And of course, I'm in the jungle. Why not collect jungle wood? So I did. I made sure to collect plenty of this stuff. Even better, I could see there was a jungle temple right here. And as I approached the jungle temple, I was attacked by some zombies. But I easily took care of them and I went to go and collect some of the good loot. Found some diamond horse armor and also some gold. That was it really. So I continued my journey on sea. So I head out across the seas and surprisingly, I found a mushroom biome. So I headed to the mushroom biome and of course I found some mushroom cows. And yeah, I've never seen so many mushroom cows in my life. Just look how many there is. There's so many. And as I was about to leave, I could see off in the water there was a fish. So I wanted to catch the fish and have him as a friend. Finally, day 60, we finally arrived home. And the first thing I wanted to do was to make a place for my fish. So I dug out a massive space in the ground and of course I filled it with water. And finally I placed in my fish. And there it was. It was a bit sad, so what I decided to do was to go out and find some seagrass. And yeah, this made my pet fish so much more happier. He was a very happy fish. It's time to see how the villagers are doing. Yeah, okay, the farm seems to work great, but I needed to go and collect a woodland mansion map. But first I had to upgrade this villager. So I had to go and get a bunch of paper from the swamp. So I collected loads and loads of sugarcane. This took a long time, honestly. To collect all this sugarcane was not so easy and really took a long time. So I went around the whole entire swamp and collected a bunch of sugarcane. Finally, I turned it all into paper and I traded with the villager. And I didn't do it. He still didn't trade the map. So I had to trade glass instead. But luckily I had loads of glass, so that wasn't really a problem. So I traded all the glass with the villager and there it was. A woodland mansion map. So I didn't hesitate and I bought myself one. And there it is. Wow. But I wasn't going to take out the woodland mansion just yet. I was not prepared. First, I needed to enchant all my armor. If I wanted to take on this mansion, I would need really good armor. So I went back to the nether, collecting so much levels. And with that efficiency 4 pickaxe, it really helped and made it a lot more easier to go and collect all these levels. So I just spent a long time in the nether, collecting loads. I finally get home and enchant all my armor. And wow, I got some really good armor. And I also got a really good sword as well. I was a very happy iron golem, but I also need some golden apples. So I crafted myself a few golden apples, and it is now time to go and take on the woodland mansion. So I travelled for days and days. Searching for this woodland mansion was not so easy. And then there it was, the woodland mansion. Wow. And then I stumbled across a village right outside the mansion. And yeah, I wouldn't have built a village right outside a woodland mansion. But anyways, I got to the entrance of the woodland mansion right here and I entered. And the first thing I saw, there was a villager. Also got attacked by some creepers, but that wasn't a problem. And the thing is, these villagers, they couldn't stop me. I was well too powerful. With those double hearts, I was unstoppable. So I went around the woodland mansion to see what else I could find. Then as I got upstairs, there he was, the evoker. I had to take him out as soon as possible. After a few swings, there he was, Totem of Undying. But there was loads more evokers around, so I had to take all them out as well. Hey, I found their library room, so what I decided to do was to take some books. I'm sure they won't mind. Anyways, I continued to take out all the rest of the evokers. I wanted to claim this mansion as mine. And wow, there it is. We did it. That was a lot more easier than I thought it would be. And now the mansion is now mine. Just look at all the Totem of Undyings we got. Wow. Day 77, I wanted to head back to that village nearby to see if I could find anything. And there was a few lanterns around, so I decided to take a few. I'm sure the villagers won't mind. So I said my final goodbyes to the villagers and I headed back home. Finally arrived back home and I could see there was a iron golem here. This was not allowed, so I had to take him out. And I thought I'll just do a bit more decorating around my base. So I decided to make a few new walls around. So I just used a variety of blocks, like some spruce slabs around, and also a few of those lanterns that I collected from the village. And day 80, I just did the same thing pretty much, making a brand new wall area around here. And I thought, let's make a third house. I just made it very simple. I think you guys have seen me build enough houses, so I just kind of skipped this one. But I did have some melon seeds and also some pumpkin seeds, so I decided to plant those in. And then I could see there was a wandering trader. So I thought, why not? What does he trade? What does he trade? Let me see. Pufferfish? Why not? Let's get myself a pufferfish. So I placed him in and instantly I was poisoned. Thanks, pufferfish. But I could see my pet fish was very happy. He now had a friend. Later on that day, I enchanted a bow and got flame and power 4, which was very nice. But I also wanted a few more pets. I wanted a pet dog, so I headed to the forest and I went looking for a pet dog. And luckily, I did find one. So I approached the wolf right here and he had a friend. And there it is. We headed back home and now we have a family of dogs. This is amazing. And later on that day, what I decided to do was to head back to the fortress. I wanted to go and get a blaze rod so I could actually make some potions. Day 82, I finally get home and make a brewing stand, and I make some regeneration potions and also some healing potions as well. After that woodland mansion fight, my armor was pretty much almost broken, so I had to go to the caves and find some diamonds. Day 87, I finally get home and then I repair all my armor, but we're not finished just yet. I have to go back to the nether once again and go and collect a bunch of blaze rods. I mean, alone. I have to go and collect so many blaze rods. But I would also need loads of ender pearls. So I headed to the nearest warped forest and I took out a bunch of endermen. This took a really long time. Finally, that should be enough ender pearls. Then I finally head back to the portal. It is now time. It is now time. It is now time to go and defeat the ender dragon. So I gathered all the stuff I needed from my chest and I said goodbye to all my dogs and also my fishes. And then I headed out and it's time to take on the ender dragon. So I headed to the stronghold and there it was, the end portal. I couldn't believe it. So I placed in all the eyes of ender and there it was, the end portal. So I didn't hesitate and I jumped through, got through to the other side, and the first thing I had to do was to make a way up. And there she was, the ender dragon. She was not happy whatsoever. She instantly started firing fireballs at me. I had to run. But I know what I had to do. I had to take out all the end crystals. So I did. I could tell the ender dragon was not happy. And then as I was trying to shoot this end crystal, the ender dragon charged at me, dealt a bit of damage, but luckily I was okay. So I couldn't reach these end crystals. I had to make a way up. This should be high enough. All I have to do now is to shoot all the end crystals. And there it is. Wow. All the end crystals have been destroyed. It's time to take out the ender dragon. But the ender dragon kept knocking me back. This was bad. I couldn't reach the ender dragon, and every time I tried, I kept getting pushed away. This was bad. I didn't have a choice. I had to end this. So I had my strength potion, and it was now time to take down the ender dragon. I took my final swings, and there it is. Wow, we did it. We finally defeated the ender dragon. So I gathered up all the XP, and wow, that's a lot of XP. Also gathered up the ender egg. I was not going to leave that behind, and I wanted to keep it. And there it is. Wow, we've finally got the dragon egg. All it has to do now is to go home. So I'll jump back through the portal and I get home, and the first thing I want to do was to make a place for the ender egg to go. So I just used a emerald block and also a bunch of quartz and also a few stairs and slabs as well. And finally, the dragon egg. Wow, we did it. But I also wanted to do a bit more decorating around. So I placed in a bunch of endstone, and to finish it off I placed in a few more quartz slabs. And there it is. Wow. And there it is, wow, we finally did it. We finally survived 100 days as Iron Golem in hardcore Minecraft. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out.